We're gonna use this to take down this tree, I think in no time flat, unless things go wrong. Let's find out. Folks, you are staring at 1,800 pounds of fury right here. This thing is just absolutely wicked. The crazy thing is, it does just about as much destruction as a forestry mulcher, but it costs a third of the price. Now, this is not your hook it up to your front end loader on your tractor and put it to work type of thing. This has to go on a skid steer. This is a 100 horsepower John Deere 333G skid steer with high flow. We're using a 30 to 50 GPM range motor on here too, but we're smoking 10-inch trees all day with this thing. It's just unbelievable what it does. That said, that 1,800 pounds there, well, combined with the 13,000 pounds here, did kind of work to the disadvantage when I was in a real mucky area over on this side of the property where we've previously stuck our skid steer and our tractor and a four-wheeler and a skid steer again and then a skid steer again. I guess I don't really learn my lesson, do I? So we're gonna show you that too, where we got this thing out. We saved $5 grand getting this out ourselves. It was the worst I'd ever been stuck. I wasn't sure if I could do it or not. We're gonna show you that too. As far as this cutter goes, this is the biggest, nastiest brush cutter that Ironcraft offers. Well, I should say Ironcraft. CID is their sister company. And so there's a combination of some products overlap where Ironcraft sells them. Some are only available through CID. So this is in that family, all right? Ironcraft bought CID, so now they're combined and they're able to offer a whole ag side as well as a whole construction side. Just a slew of implements. Fantastic prices. If you go to our website, you're gonna get pricing that includes delivery on all of those, okay? Anything from a little subcompact tractor all the way up to these 100 horsepower skid steers and everywhere in between. So this is gonna be offered with 2 different motor options on there. Parker Motors, all right? I actually, oddly enough, used to work for Parker, not the hydraulic motor division. I worked for the aerospace division, but really high quality motors, about the best you can get in the industry. 20 to 30 GPM or a 30 to 50 GPM option on there. We'll include the K-strain as well for hookup. Again, high flow is really recommended on here. You need to get a lot of oomph behind these blades that are spinning. Speaking of the blades, AR400 3/4 inch thick steel. That's big stuff. When this turns off, it takes like 2 or 3 minutes of the momentum just to wind down and stop. I mean, if you buried it in the ground, of course you get it to stop right away, but just letting it sit there and free spin as it dies down, I mean, there's just so much weight, momentum, and that's where you're getting that 10-inch cut capacity too. In addition to the blades, there's a big center hub that's gonna have either 16 or 20 mulching teeth on there too. So when you set that right down on a stump or branches or whatever else, right on that center plate there, it's gonna go ahead and grind things up there too. 72 or 78 inch width, available 1-year factory warranty. Skid steer quick attach only, a big old beefy guard on the front here where you can knock down trees or kind of, you know, you'll see me kind of come at it level and basically have that brush bar here touching the tree so that it's not going to want to come fall back on me, but just kind of lean and push it forward as it cuts it, because it's going to cut right down here where those blades come out and start to go right through it. Now you can cut bigger than a 10-inch tree if you want to. I mean, the couple that we cut here, right at the base were 10 inches, maybe a little bit larger. I cut a few others just to test this thing out that were closer to 12 to 14 inches. You know, if you're trying to grind up and mulch down those trunks after they're on the ground, that's when you start to have a little bit more of a challenge on the really big stuff that kind of exceeds the 10-inch continuous cut capacity here. But, you know, if you're just gonna one-off here and there and get them on the ground, and go for it. Folks, we are proud to be sponsored by Rimguard Solutions, a liquid ballast weight. It goes right inside your tires, completely hidden. Not only is it gonna help with safety, keeping those rear tires planted on the ground, it helps with loader efficiency and traction too. The benefits of Rimguard include being the heaviest all-natural liquid ballast weight on the market. It's not gonna corrode your rims like the old calcium chloride. It's not gonna freeze, and it's available at over 1,000 dealers nationwide. Find the dealer near you at rimguardsolutions.com. I wanna take just a second to tell you about this small business. 511 Grill Guards are custom made for John Deere, Kubota, and Coyote tractors. They provide more coverage than OEM, are made from thicker steel with smaller holes to minimize debris sneaking past. Many models even offer side and bottom guards for ultimate protection. 3D scan for a precise fit and coupled with a thorough powder coat finish create the gold standard in its category. Shipping is included in the price, and best of all, you can save an extra 5% off your order with code GWT. Protection never looks so good. So of course this is an open front cutter design. You'll see, big old sticker, danger, stay back 300 feet. This does fling debris, so I was pretty cautious and careful anywhere near the house. And actually when we were in the woods over here, Chris was over in the Ranger inside over there, and there was a piece that went flying and hit the window over there. So didn't break it or anything, but it will send debris all over the place. Lastly, it is made in the USA, so that's a really good thing as well. Not just the Parker motor, but the actual shell as well. So get this from Good Works Tractors or TractorTools.com. And again, our prices are going to include shipping right to you. All right, folks, so this is the scene of the crime where I most recently got my skid steer stuck with the brush cutter on the front. And the whole area, you know, it looks like what's behind me here, right? And then a couple of months ago, I came in here with the Wessex flail mower on my UTV and mowed it down and got it, it grew back to about this tall. And I don't know, I was just having fun. I went all the way in the woods over there with my skid steer and did some cutting. On the way back, I was like, meh, I'm just gonna take it down here and get all the way back there and see if I can open up this area a little bit more. Again, it looked like this. And I mowed all the way back here, and then I mowed on this side of the tree. Then I made a mistake and I turned, which kind of ripped up the top surface of the ground here. And I went over to this side of the tree, and I wanted to make it wider, and so I turned a little bit more, and it was turning all in that same spot. And you can't see when you're in the skid steer, right? But it was turning in that same spot, and the earth just started to give way, and before I knew it, I was stuck right here. And so you're looking at the leftovers, right? We took 30 timbers. We have a lot of timbers that come in from equipment that we order. So we brought those out here, and these are all 8 foot long. And while you can only see 2 or 3 foot of most of these, you know, like these guys right here, there's like 6 foot down in this muck, just buried down in there. I mean, this stuff is dinosaur muck. It's nasty, it stinks when you disturb it. So this was the worst I'd ever been stuck. When I got stuck, I gave it just a very small amount of time to see if I could push myself out with that brush cutter, and I wasn't getting anywhere. The back end was buried so deep down in here, there was just no amount of getting out. And so for the heck of it, I decided to reach out to some recovery companies, and there was one that was in this area that would actually come out here. And so I took some screenshots. I gave them the distance to high and dry ground, where a couple of different locations where they could anchor off from, which was about 300 or 360 feet, I think it was. Gave them all the information, video, pictures, all that kind of stuff. And they quoted me $5,000 starting price just to get mobilized out here with no guarantee that it would get out, and the price could go higher depending on the effort that it took. Well, that was crazy. So, you know, Tyler, my store manager, brought these timbers out, and we've done this before. Shoot, years ago, my oldest son Owen and I, we were in woods at a different property on a high and dry area, and there just happened to be some wet sinkhole that we got our skid steer stuck in. And at that time, we pushed up the front of the skid steer and then just started cramming branches down in underneath the tires. That wasn't a track machine, that was a wheel machine. And so it's the same concept. I mean, it works every time. And we've done it with tractors that we got stuck out here. We've done it with the skid steers, and we did it again here. You just kind of keep repeating the process. You're at some point, the first time or two, you're gonna lose all those branches or all those timbers down in the muck, but it will bottom out at some point. And then you just lift up the machine again, shove more stuff down in there, let it pack down. You try to shimmy back and forth a little bit. We kind of were building sort of like bridges a little bit for the machine to come forward. and then we'd put some more timbers behind it, and we just work our way back and forth. About 90 minutes after we started the process, we had it out. And so you just kind of got to step back, take a breather, and have a good game plan going into it, and you can get it out. We saved a pile of money. No doubt that would have worked, but I couldn't justify paying $5 grand or more to get this out. So there was a comment that said, man, take that big anchor off the front of your skid steer there. It's just weighing you down. First of all, the skid steer itself weighed 13,000 pounds. So the extra 1,800 pounds on the front, I don't think was really making a difference. Second, having something on the front, and a brush cutter is a pretty good tool to have. A bucket is great too. Help me get leverage to first lift up to get this stuff underneath it, but also to push. I really use that to push to get out of here. And if I didn't have that on the front, I don't think I would have got out. So think really hard if you get into a situation like this before you take your tool off the front, because once you get it off, you probably won't be able to get it back on. And it could be the thing that gives you that leverage, you know, the deciding factor on getting out or being stuck. I'm probably gonna try coming back here again. Now, the reason I say that is because at some point this is going to dry out. You can see there's steel posts here, there's wooden fencing here all around. You'll see the remnants of it all out here. This used to be pasture for cows, for cattle. The previous owner, I took a tour of the property with him when we were buying it, when he was selling it, and this was all dry and pasture. At one point you can see all these trees, they all grew up. And so he had his tractor out here and fenced it all in, and then I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, we started to get really wet. The water table really raised, and that's what it turned into. It killed all the trees, and it's become just mucky ground. It stinks. It's about 10, 12 acres of my property that's just not really traversable with a lot of equipment, but it's beauty in its own way. Well, it's a beautiful day out here. I'm happy to be shooting video outside. No equipment got stuck today, so that's a good thing too. If you want an attachment for your tractor, your skid steer, or your ATV or UTV, go to tractortools.com. We ship all over the country. If you don't know what you need, what size you need, what's the best tool for your situation, send us an email. We'll get you set up with exactly what you need, and we guarantee it. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to stop by, and until next time, stay safe. We'll see you soon.